Well, hello, hello, hello. It is Conversations Podcast. What say you, Lisa?
Well, I am so happy to be here today, and we are going to have one heck of a quick show because it's going to be that... Well, it's a
5 minute hour?
Well, it's not an hour.
It's going to be two and a half minute, half
30
hour.
minute.
Yeah.
That.
That's and that's because we have a special guest. It is Dr. Wendy on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Wendy.
Hey.
We're going to announce you with all kinds of professionalism.
Thank you.
But first, what we're going to start with is something that we typically don't do, is there are birthdays today. There are two birthdays today. One is a Steve Ackerman, who happens to be the husband of Danny Ackerman, who's the show just before ours. So happy birthday, Steve.
Happy
Right?
birthday.
Yep. And also my big brother, Al Farrell, Big Al is what they call him in Hawthorne. James, happy birthday, Al.
Happy birthday.
Yep. Something different. And now to bring in the show.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am Jesse Farrell,
And?
professional speaker, success coach, podcaster, and author. And you are?
Lisa Bybee with Lisa Listen, and I am success coach, VP of Sales and Marketing for Just Talk, and podcaster extraordinaire.
Look at you. And Wendy, Dr. Wendy, say who you are and use that beautiful resonating English you use.
It's the only accent I have.
I know.
I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborn. I am a choice expert
Yes.
and an author and a speaker and a phenomenal cook.
Oh, yes, you
Indeed.
are. Lady girlfriend.
13-course meal.
I was going to say, hook
Oh.
this up last season with
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I wanted to crawl out of Wendy's house that day. It was so much.
It was like Thanksgiving.
But it was all unbelievably
It was
special.
good.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
you tightened it up. I don't know how you pull so many dishes together so well timed. It was very, very good.
Yeah, it was.
When are we coming back? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think we owe her an invite.
we do.
to our
We do.
home.
Let's switch it around. We'll bring you in.
Yeah, there you go.
But let's talk about
There
the
you
show. First off, are bad choices good? That is the topic for the show. Are bad choices good? But don't answer that yet, because Lisa, what I'd like for you to do is read Dr. Wendy's bio, if you will.
Dr. Wendy Dearborn is a choice expert, life coach, educator, life coach, inspirational speaker, published author, and holistic healing master. She has a successful life coach training institute, as well as a life coaching and healing practice. Within her practice, she incorporates a unique and highly effective blend of transformational life coaching and holistic therapies, all of which are designed to define and enhance one's choice-making skills, thereby supporting people in creating the life they want to live. She brings over 28 years of experienced expertise to this field. In addition to currently training and certifying life coaches, she has taught basic, advanced thank you.
How do you spell that?
Aromatherapy courses at the College of Southern Nevada. She lectures throughout the Valley on integrative health care modalities and understanding the power of your conscious choice. As a volunteer at local homeless and physical abuse shelter, she lectures weekly on personal empowerment, clarity, and choices.
Amen.
I love that. That's awesome. So that is a lot of stuff that you do.
I do.
And there are a number of things I'm curious about, Dr. Wendy. The first thing is, tell us a little bit more about a choice expert. What is that?
Basically, as a choice expert, what I assist people in doing is truly finding out what they are really wanting in life.
Okay.
And that's what I do.
Okay.
And that in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Helping people find out what they really want in life.
So, is there such thing as a bad choice?
To be honest with you, as we were talking before the show,
In the green room.
it sucks when you make a bad choice. But no, there isn't anything.
Did you say on our show that it sucks? Did you say that?
No.
If you make a bad choice?
No. Did you hear that?
I don't know. It sounded like I heard that.
You better clean your ears out.
Okay, fair enough.
No, there's actually no such thing as a bad choice.
Okay.
What that boils down to is how you react to your situation, how you react to whatever's happening to you. That's all it is. It's how you take that information and then you utilize it.
I like that. In most cases, people do react if they've made a bad choice. I would even say that can even get down to the difference between reacting and respond. Like it could even be how you respond to something. And I get a sense that when we respond to something that has happened that is difficult or tragic or bad or however you want to put it, when we respond, I think we get a more powerful, something we're more proud of. Oftentimes a reaction can be something that we're not really proud of.
Most people actually, and I hear what you're saying, most people actually do react.
I'll bet.
Reaction is a natural, intrinsic, instinctive response to something that's happened to you. And so therefore, for me, it really is about what you choose to do with that emotion that has come up. You know, I took my dad's car and I crashed it.
Right.
Bad. Very, very bad.
Right.
Very, very, very bad. And it goes from then, what are you going to do with this situation?
I like that. You know what you say? You say it differently. I like the way you say it, but Lisa and I always say this. So many people place so much about what's happening to them or what has happened to them, especially the bad stuff. Mm-hmm. They place a lot of emphasis, a lot of energy on, you know what happened to me, and they sing a song or they tell a long story about what has happened to them or whine about it. Yeah, exactly. And really, quite frankly, we always say that life is really, the best essence of life is lived when you focus on what you're going to do about what has happened.
Well, you see, this is it. This is
not what happened to you.
It's not your history that really makes you. It's your destiny. It's the choices that you make that are taking you to your destiny.
Right. Your history is a point of reference. It's a reckoning.
That's
right.
That's all it can be. And sometimes it's not even a good point of reference.
No, sometimes
because it's not what you wanted to happen.
Exactly.
So it comes down to what is it that you do want to happen in your life, and when you can define that clearly, you can then make choices.
Well said.
In the best interest of self that will move you in that direction.
In the best interest of self and others.
Of course, yes.
Yep.
However, that being said, I will say this. If you don't do in the best interest of self and don't understand what that feels like, no, you don't know what that is, you cannot truly be of assistance and support, in my opinion, to other people.
Any sustainable fashion.
You
might get lucky every now and then. I like that.
That's
what you're saying is the first place is to know self.
It is,
right,
most
Lisa?
assuredly.
And
most
a lot
assuredly.
of people miss that. A lot of
with
people
authenticity.
Yes,
with
tell the truth. In other words, tell the truth.
Don't know yourself in regard to, I want to be like a Kardashian. There's only one Kardashian family, only one.
Right.
You know, I don't.
Right. That's our director going. Who?
That's the voice, the disincarnated voice.
I can hear a voice from the distance and it's saying, "Thank God."
Yes.
So no.
So it's about being authentic. It's about being the authentic you and being okay in your skin with being the authentic you.
But most people have a difficult time with the concept of what you're talking about. It's a very basic concept. We call that showing you the mirror or looking into the mirror. Mm-hmm. Many people have a hard time with that. What do you think about that, Lisa? About the people that have a hard time looking into the mirror? Because Dr. Wendy's saying that's really where it starts and ends. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm thinking of somebody in particular that we're dealing with right now that we've shown the mirror time and time and time again, and she's just not getting it. And so what else can you do when you're showing it in several different ways?
See, the name of the game for me, if you're actually showing somebody, and I mean, if you are physically showing them the mirror, this is you, and figuratively, this is you, it's really important for them to define what am I wanting? What am I wanting for me in this moment, my life? Not, my dad, not my mom, not my husband, not my kids, not my spouse, not the preacher, not God. What do I want for me in this moment?
Because if you don't identify that, you're LOST.
And that's it.
And stuck. Not only lost,
very
but
stuck.
And you're paralyzed. You can't move.
Because the woman that you were speaking of, or the client that you were speaking of, I would hazard a guess that they haven't taken the time out to really define what it is that they're wanting, even if it comes down to, I just want peace of mind. I just want to be left alone. I just want to, I would hazard a guess.
Or they're in denial of what's going on and they just don't want to face it.
I think the denial, I think Lisa's on something. I think the denial, when someone refuses to dislodge themselves and they don't say they want to remain stuck.
Well, you see, then it comes down to the payoff and the reward. Again, it's a choice.
I agree.
What is the payoff? What are you willing to do to get the reward that you're experiencing?
Yeah.
No, that's very valid, and I think people that resist, like for instance the case that she's talking about, the client that we're seeking to do our very best to help, we're almost at the point where we can be no longer helpful or effective nor is it going to be a good investment of her time in us or us in her, because if she doesn't want to tell the truth, as you say, be authentic about, number one, where you're at for real, what are the possibilities, what is it that you want, because we're giving her an unknown resources of ways to see it for herself, not because we're saying it. And if a person doesn't want that, then
perhaps she's all right where she is.
Well, she is. It's not helping her case, but I get what you're saying. And maybe she needs to be there for a spell to learn something else. That could be a point. But no amount of therapists or coaches or any other helping fields that can help this person if they're not willing to say, I must tell the truth about where I am and make some real hard decisions and choices.
Or the choice will be made for you.
Or the choice will be made for you in some fashion.
Which is what happens to many people. If you don't actually make a choice for yourself, a choice will be made for you, and people get dragged along in life, and then they get all bent out of shape.
I was just going to say that.
This has happened to me, and that's happened to me, and blah, 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 blah. Well, who's the common denominator in this particular scenario, or in everything that's gone on with you? And if the common denominator is you, then it boils down to the fact that you have made a choice. And before, I just want to share something. I had one of my very dear clients who's become actually a friend, very, very good friend, very close friend. She had been showing a house, blah, 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 a whole series of events and choices that she made. Choices not to say no. Somebody asked, will you show this house? And very high end, we show this house. No, I'm not going out. I'm watching my soap operas, blah, 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 blah. So eventually she decided to relent, and she went. As a result, she was brutally attacked by the person looking at the home.
Wow.
Wound up in hospital for about 4 weeks. She was in intensive care for about a week. Yada, 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 yada.
Tragic.
Okay.
Wow.
No. When she came to see me, because it had been so brutal, my question to her was, what did you do that put yourself in the crosshairs of what happened to you? And she said, I made the wrong choice.
Ooh.
Okay.
I made the wrong choice. I chose not to follow my instincts. My instincts told me, don't go. You were at home, don't go. And as a result of that, and the way in which she bounced back, because she now lectures, she talks to women, she does this, blah, 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 blah. She realized that she made this choice. But in doing so, she's been able to help thousands of women.
Right. That's huge.
Thousands.
So that's a bad choice that turned out good on the back end of it.
Exactly.
But the episode definitely wasn't a good episode.
Yeah.
And I can dovetail on that.
She listens to intuition now.
Yeah, that's a brilliant story.
Yeah,
I have an intuition story as well. It's not as it's vivid, but it's not as that's a very
intense.
Impacting. Yeah, very intense. I had someone that really wanted to partner up with me in business, and I wasn't really comfortable with it. I couldn't get a sense of where that was going, and we end up having to invest, sufficient funds in travel fees and time and a 600-mile journey to this destination that it wasn't ever feeling really good. And I almost never go against my intuition. This is one of those times there were some other people involved that I was seeking to serve the other people that were involved. And I didn't feel it was going to serve me or them, but I didn't want to feel like I was overpowering the situation. So I went along with it. It was a bad choice. What turned out good about that is nobody got hurt, nobody got killed, but I'll never go against my intuition again because it was costly. It was financially costly, and it was timely costly, and I knew it. So that bad choice, the good thing is it won't happen again. Yeah. But right?
And that's what having an experience that we deem to be bad.
Right.
That it can turn out to be so good. It can bring so much fruit. It can bring so much learning to us that enhances our skill set.
Absolutely.
So that we can maneuver through life and make choices in the best interest of self to manifest what we want to happen.
And don't let making choices be something you relent or you don't do because you're afraid of making a bad choice.
That's a choice in itself.
Exactly.
And as Lisa had said, you don't do that, you're going to get dragged along. The choice will be made for you.
Absolutely. And that's going to be far worse than anything. Exactly.
Because you get there and you're like, how did I get here? I didn't want to do this. I hate this, blah, 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 blah. And that just sets off a whole spiral of things.
Chain reaction.
Which impacts your health. It impacts your wealth. It impacts on every perceivable level, relationships, everything.
Your self-esteem, your confidence, all that, because you're sitting in the back seat letting somebody else drive your car. No, you need to get in the front seat and drive your own car.
And they don't know how to drive a stick shift, but yet still they're driving your car.
And you're letting
tearing up the gears.
Right, exactly, tearing up. Speaking of driving a car, you know what? I want to say something about you, and then I want to ask you something about a real tragic thing that possibly happened to you. Number one, I want to read from this a portion of this bio. It says, Dr. Wendy Dearborn has 2 doctorates in her field of study, one in science and the other in philosophy. Love it. She is a published author, radio presenter, ordained minister, and spiritual guidance counselor, life coach educator, choice expert, and life coach, inspirational speaker volunteer, a master classical aromatherapist and European-trained master of reflexologist, and
esthetician.
Oh, stop it.
And woohoo!
You are what they call bad to the bone, girl. That's some awesome stuff. That takes a while to gain that kind of.
And it really did.
You know what I mean?
I loved to study. I always said that I wanted to be able to work with people from the head to the feet. Because I also was a hairdresser for a while,
right?
And so I wanted to be able to work with people from their head to their feet. And I said this as a child.
But what's the secret?
What do you mean?
What's the secret
of working with people?
No. The secret
of
keeping all that do in shape. You still got your hairdo working over there. You still got your afro after all that. You didn't lose your hair.
That's because I was a hairdresser.
There you go. My mama taught me well. But Dr. Wendy, we're having too much fun on the show. Check this out. Personal journey began with a near-death experience. Talk to us. Talk to us. There had to be some unbelievable choices after that.
In a very, very, and I was actually young. In a bad relationship.
21.
Yeah, I was 21. In a bad relationship, and I was actually going to get married. You know, this was the love of my life.
Okay.
Search for tomorrow. But I was actually, we were going to get married, but the relationship was wrong. We were very, very wrong for each other.
Okay.
I believe in a relationship, you should bring out the best in each other.
I agree.
Or at least support each other.
I totally agree.
In growing, create that nurturing environment. I can't make you into whoever it is that you want to be and vice versa.
That's right.
But I can support you externally with the things that I see that you may need. So toxic relationship, and as I was sort of just saying to you, Lisa, if you don't make choices for yourself, somebody else is going to make them for you.
Absolutely.
And this is what happened in this relationship.
First-hand experience.
Yeah, really. But somebody's going to make this. But somebody's going to make this for you, and this is what happened. And as a result, instead of choosing to externalize my displeasure, I internalized my displeasure, affirming to myself that this situation and him and his mama made me sick.
Well, don't talk about the boy's mama. But go ahead. I'm not talking about your mama.
No. This situation, it makes me sick. I can't stand where we're going. I can't stand what we're doing. It makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up. And as a result, I actually manifested a life-shortening illness. Which
wow.
I manifested a life-shortening illness in which I couldn't eat. I would literally
purge.
And I mean, I couldn't eat. It wasn't, people say, just
for how long? Well, how long of a period?
That was perhaps for about 2 months because I think everybody thought I was going to die. Wow. I couldn't walk. I lost the ability to walk.
You had no energy.
I lost the ability to walk.
Holy smokes.
But I would always say, I can't stand you, which means I can't stand up. You make me sick. And so that's what was happening.
Right.
Long story short, I went to...
Thoughts creep?
I couldn't sleep, actually. I couldn't sleep because my lungs, I just couldn't sleep. I was...
Your thoughts created the words. The words created the actions.
Propped up That's very right.
Yes.
I was propped up on pillows, couldn't breathe. And then they wanted to give me sleeping pills because I wouldn't go to sleep. And they said I needed to sleep. And I wasn't doing that. And
You weren't sleeping or eating?
Nope.
Oh, you were a
And
mess.
then I
You were a
said,
mess.
I was in bed and I said, you know what, God? I'm not doing this anymore. I choose not to do this.
Right. And you turn it
And
around
I
with
said-
that one thought.
I was like,
that one
and
thought.
I said, if I wake up, I'm here. If I wake up and I'm not here, I don't care. But I choose not to do this anymore. I get to choose.
Wow.
And then the next thing I know, I was somewhere going towards these lights, yada, yada, yada. But that being said, what I saw for me on the other side
Right.
was I was shown a mural, a wall of all these choices. I was only 21. You would think that the mural would be about this big. It was huge of all these choices that I had made. Actually, it looked like little dots. And what I was shown was connect the dots. Every dot that you connect is a choice. Every choice that you have made has built upon the choices that you will make. However, the choices that you have made are not your destiny. Your destiny is the choice that you will be making.
Right.
And that's what they showed me. And they came back and it was like, my mission in life is to tell people you have the right to choose. It is your divine right
Yeah.
to choose.
That's brilliant. So the people out there, so our audience out there listening to this and struggling with choice, whether it's a minute choice, because I could nag you to some sort of paralysis as well, to a very big, awesome choice. What would you tell them about how to get them off that stuck place of not making choices for themselves to live the quality of life that they deserve? What would you tell them?
The biggest thing for me, and I might sound like a broken record, but the biggest thing for me is, what do you want for you?
What do you want? I
What
say that all the time.
What are you wanting?
What do
for
you want?
And I don't know isn't an answer.
But they don't know.
I refuse. I totally refuse. I don't, because people will say to me, I don't know. And my response to them is, you do. So what is it that you don't want in your life? Well, I don't want to be in this marriage. I don't want to be in this job. I don't want to this. Then you have just told me what you do want. Now let's refine it. What does it look like for you then to have the ideal relationship or the ideal career or the ideal job? You know what you don't want, so therefore you can tell me what you do want.
But most people live in what they don't want.
Of course.
And they can perpetuate. They can tell you that really quickly. They can snap it off their fingers.
Of course.
But when you say no, just the ones, it's a simple question.
Of course.
But for many people, it's not easy to answer, and some people act like it's impossible to answer what it is they want.
Which is why then I will go to, literally, tell me what you don't want to happen in your life. Tell me what you don't want to see. Tell me where you don't want to be 2 months from now, 3 months, a year, 5 years from now. Do you still want to be having the same conversation? Tell me what you don't want.
Yeah, you've helped a lot of people with your gifts and talents. Now, I have a funny feeling that you spend a lot of time in this area of what we're talking about.
I do.
Right?
I do. This is primarily what I do.
I can totally get that. Where do you tap into some of this, Lise, from what she's saying in terms of people that you've helped and you've served over the years with this exact same stuckness of not realizing that their choices are the things that make the difference in their lives, and starting from the base, the center place of what do you want?
You just have to keep asking the question, and
almost tirelessly for some people.
And you know me, I ask it the same way all the time, where you get a little more crafty with it and asking it 10 different ways, but saying the same thing.
Well, I think the doctor gets pretty crafty with it too. I'm not by myself.
Peeling back the layers.
She'll tell other ways. Yeah.
You know?
But at the end of the day, this is such a fabulous program because that's what it gets down to. It's about choice and being responsible, taking responsibility for the choice. Not only that it's choice.
Well, that's huge for me. Ownership, accountability, and responsibility. Yes. Where you find yourself in life, you're responsible for it because you are the one who is experiencing it.
Absolutely.
You are the common denominator.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, here are a couple of books. I want to hold these up. This is actually the very first book. This everybody's a doctor with me now, but Judy Morial was the lady that started this whole series. This is the first one, and we actually co-authored this together along with a few other authors. And here's another series. I think she must be up to 4 or 5 different series of life choices.
Yes.
And people in these life choices books, people talk about defining moments. They talk about periods in their life when they realized they were at a crossroads and they had to make a choice. And the choices from these crossroads, you tell me, what happens?
You've actually hit the nail on the head. Not everybody actually has to have a near-death experience, but I believe everybody has to have a come-to-self meeting with self. And that's the thing. When people actually start to define life for themselves through the power of their conscious ability to choose, it's when they have that moment.
Right.
And I'm not talking about, it's not like a aha moment. It's like a, oh my God.
Yeah, it is. It's an oh my God, and nothing else good is going to happen unless I make a choice here.
There you go. There you go.
And sometimes it typically comes with a voice. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get into the story, but because I've had a number of them, but the one of the most profound moments like we're talking about for me, the words came to me, and I felt like Winston Churchill, never again.
There you go, love.
And when I said that, I fully meant that.
There you go. Because I know people will say, oh, never say never. No, there are times when you say never again. And it means never again.
And then what came with never again was responsibility.
Exactly.
How am I going to back into this never again?
And make sure that it does not happen to you again.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's how Just Talk was born, was from that experience. And now we've served thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of people. Were you going to say something to that too, Lisa?
No, I was...
What about your experience when you made the choice, when you were in corporate for 35 years and you were fried and burnt out and yourself was destroying inside? What about that choice, crossroads for you?
Well, it was a very difficult choice because at that time I had identified my whole signature of who I was to that job.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to cut that cord, but it was getting so toxic and so... not where I wanted to be, that I was just crawling out of my skin. I was forced to make that choice.
That was the crosshairs.
And, that was a difficult choice.
But you
next
knew at
6
the
to
time,
12 months after making it.
you knew you were afraid to make that choice though.
Right.
Although, given that I do know you, the fear of staying in it.
There we go.
Versus coming out of it.
Yes.
The fear of coming out of it outweighed the fear of staying
there
in.
There you go.
You know,
let's give her a round of applause on that one.
Yeah,
a round of applause on that one. For Lisa and for Dr. Wendy for bringing it out. I'm just going to put it to you like they would tell you in your neighborhood, there's a doctor in the house. Doctor in the house.
That's right. That's right.
So that's a fabulous offering I wanted to pop that out there because I know that was one of your challenging choices or moments of reckoning when you had to really make a really difficult choice, but you've backed into it and you're far greater now than you ever were even back then when you thought that unknown out there was the trilogy, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was making the choice, and you have to make that happen.
You see, you the job, you weren't the job, or the job wasn't you. You brought your essence to what you did. So when you came out of it, that essence went right along to doing everything that you're doing, with Just Talk. Excuse me, Lisa, listen.
Yes.
And everything that yourself and Jesse, and you independently are doing.
Right.
That was the essence of Lisa.
Exactly.
Well said.
That's the essence of Lisa.
Let's give another round of applause for the doctor in the house. The doctor's just bringing it. Dr. Wendy, where can people find you?
You can find me at itsmylifemychoice.com. Or you can give me a call on area code 702-425-8589. But, check out my website, check out my website, itsmylifemychoice.com. The email would be drwendy at itsmylifemychoice.com.
Very good, very good. Lisa, do you know where they can find us? Do I need to tell them?
Apple TV, Roku TV, Stitcher,
YouTube,
LinkedIn, YouTube, Google TV,
Facebook.
Here we go. And last but not least, the Vegas Video Network.
Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Well, you know what? I knew this show was going to go by really, really fast, and it has. It's the 2.5 minute half hour, a version of the 5 minute hour.
Right.
But next week we're going to have another doctor in the house. This has been our doctor role. We had doctors last week, doctor today, and doctor next week. Dr. Joe Willardson of True Dentistry, Cosmetic Dentistry. He's going to be in the house with us. And he's been seen on the doctors. He's got a number of publications that he's been on. He's got some infomercials and different things he's got going. This guy's he's out there quite a bit. So he's going to be another fabulous doctor that we get to talk about how what he does helps people and why that is. It's exactly how what you does help people. And all I have to tell you is, even with Lisa and I practicing our whole how you lead them feeling concept, you have brought the how you lead them feeling concept to its knees today, lady. Thank you.
Thank you.